Hello students, myself Imran from Assistant Professor from Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Greater Noida. In the earlier lecture, I had discussed about inflation. I discussed in detail what are the types of inflation. I also discussed what are the different causes why inflation exists into the economy and why the inflation rate keep on rising. Today, I will be discussing about new topic. It is business cycle and its phases. So, the objectives of the today's session is to discuss basic concept of the business cycle, what it is all about, to explain phases, what are the different phases in which the inflation happen. Next, it is to outline the effect of the business cycle on the economy. Okay. So, these are the different objective of my session that I will be covering. A brief definition of the business cycle is the periodic up and down movement in economic activities or economic situation. It is being called as business cycle. So, business cycle, it is a general up and down you will see into the economy, and it happen in every economy across the globe. At some point of time, your certain part of the world economy might be at the boom, at other part of the world there may be a country that might be facing recession, that might be facing depression. So, the business cycle, it is what? It is the different phases or different cycle at which an economy keep on passing. Now, why it is important for us to understand the business cycle? Because economist or the government has to formulate various policies, government and the corporate had to take several action considering what is the cycle of economy or what is the business cycle prevailing into the economy, whether it is prosperity, whether it is recession, whether it is depression, and accordingly they had to plan for several activities or several things, that what kind of course of action they are planning for future. So, this business cycle, it is what? It is up and down into the economy, and the economy is facing at several phases. It is prosperity, recession, depression and recovery. And I said that at same point in the world, one country may be at prosperity stage, other country might be into depression phase, the third country might be into the recessionary phase. So, since each of them are into the different phases of the business cycle, the economic policies, corporate strategies will be different because the business cycle is differ there. Now, these are the three features of the business cycle. The first feature, it is about periodicity. The periodicity here stand for these wave like movement in the income and employment occur at 6 to 12 years, where an economy continues to grow for certain period of time, it is bound to slow down. So, periodicity is what? Effects or these movement into the economy like recession or prosperity or depression, these remain into the economy or their effect remain into the economy for a longer span of time. It is they keep on for several years, maybe for 6 years, maybe for 12 years or even more than that. So, the periodicity is what? It is the longevity at which the business cycle leave or impact the economy for longer span of time. We have seen in 1929 the Great Depression came into the world economy, and that Great Depression impacted the world economy for 10 years. Its effect of the Great Depression has been for almost 10 years. So, the periodicity is indicated by that the Great Depression of 1929 had impacted the world economy for a decade, and most of all companies or the economy was impacted badly due to this Great Depression. Again into 2008, we all have seen that recession has came. It was not only India, rather all part of the world or all economy of the world was impacted badly because of the recession of 2008. recently it is COVID-19 that we all are facing as of now, and there are several countries which are badly facing it, and they are estimating that its effect not only will confine into 2022 or 23, but their effect might be long lasting. Recently Mr. President of Russia Vladimir Putin has said that its effect could be as bad as the effect of Great Depression in 1929 had been. So, he was comparing the COVID-19 effects on the economy or on the world economy similar like Great Depression that had happened into 1929. So, this effect is about periodicity. So, whatever business cycle phase an economy is facing, its effects are not only for a day or two, rather they are for longer span of time, and its impact happen for long. Just we can see into France, we can observe into Britain, we easily can see into America also. These economies are badly impacted due to COVID-19, and their economies have fallen into recession, and its effect will not over as soon as the COVID effect will be over, but this effect is going to be much longer, and their economy are going to face effect of recession for a longer span of time. Next, it is about the synchronism. Large section of the economy experiences the same phase. It happened because of interdependence of the various sector of the economy. Due to globalization, different economies are bound with each other through economic interdependence. So, we had to say and observe that business cycle is having a feature of synchronism. I mean to say there are two sector or three sector together that are interrelated. If one sector of the economy will face a problem, other sector of the economy is also likely to face this same problem. Let us take certain example. If automobile industry is facing a problem, if people are not buying new car, people are not buying, consumers are not buying new bike, they are not spending money on the automobile product. So, if there is a lack of demand into the automobile industry, there will be a lack of demand for rubber, there will be a lack of demand for steel, there will be a lack of demand for aluminum, there will be a lack of demand for copper or several items that are used while we are manufacturing the automobile product. So, the demand, the slowdown into one sector impacting to the other sector also, because they are going to be interrelated with the other economy. Maybe if there is a slowdown into the software industry and the software professional is not happening, are not earning much, they do not have the enough money in their hand, might be the demand for the real estate product flats make slow down, because they buy the larger portion of the real estate product or real estate into industry. So, the slowdown into that particular industry might be impacting to the other industries also. So, synchronism is happening. If one industry will grow, the other industry is also likely to grow. If there is a slowdown in one sector of the economy, other sector of the economy is also impacted, because these sectors are being called interlinked. For example, FMCG, fast moving consumer goods, and we say at some point of time that there is a uprise in the demand of the consumer goods, and the HUL, Procter and Gamble, Dabur, Imami, Marico, it is Reckitt and Benckiser. These companies are seeing that there is a huge demand into the economy. So, if the demand for their product is going to be increased, demand for packaging is also going to increase, because much packaging happen into the fast moving consumer goods. So, there is a interdependence on the economy. So, this business cycle is having a phenomena of synchronism, that one sector if it is going, it will have a positive effect on the other sector also. If one sector it is slowing down, it will impact a negative impact on the other economies also or other sector also. Next, it is due to globalization, economies are bound with each other through economic interdependence. Even into the world economy, since globalization has happened and countries are interdependent each other, countries are dependent on each other, the interdependence can be find out or can be observed. For example, if something wrong is happening into the USA economy, it is very usual to impact it to India. If there is a slowdown into Europe or in rest of the part of the world, the China is very likely to be impacted to Chinese GDP is very likely to be impacted due to slowdown into the world economy. It is because China keep on exporting to the rest of the world, and China will continue to keep on exporting if rest of the world is healthy. If there is a problem into the world economy, China's problem will came into existence and their GDP is likely to be impacted negatively. So, this it is what interdependence of the economy, how one country it is interdependent with the another country, and what kind of changes are like to happen. Next, it is about self reinforcing upswing of one economy may spread over the other economy and vice versa. If there is a positive growth into one country, it will have a positive impact on the other countries also. Company will came over here because our economy is growing, they will make investment into our economy, they will take profit from here and they will give it back to their home country. People will come into India because Indian economy is growing, they will earn money over here and they will send back their earned money to their home countries, and their home country going to be benefited positively. So, the other features of the business cycle, it is about reinforcing. I mean to say that we keep on retreating or investing into the several part of the. Next, these are the 4 phases of economic cycle, and the first phase of the economy it is the prosperity. So, into the prosperity what happened, it is the first phase, and into the prosperity this phase is characterized by increase in output, employment level, investment is growing into your economy, GDP is very high, companies are earning profit and credit is very high. This is the most good phase of the economy. There is a everything positive happening into the economy, and the GDP of your economy or GDP of your country is expected to be consistently increasing. So, when you observe inflation is under control, multinational companies are very optimistic about your economy and they are willing to make huge investment into your economy, employment is increasing and credit is easily available, living standard of the people is increasing. This phenomena is known as prosperity. In just in 2006 or 7, you have seen what a remarkable growth that India has achieved, and our economy was at the rate of prosperity. China, you have seen what remarkable they are growing before COVID, or still they are doing performing much better. So, the Chinese economy is at the prosperity stage, everything is goody over there. Recently the Taiwan economy has done very good, and they have done a very good control over COVID effect, and their export has increased to the world, and they have done remarkable job, but still they are doing good. So, when we find out that all around in the economy is good, there is everything positive, your employment is increasing, standard of living, this phase it is called as prosperity, and it is the most desired phase by all economies of the world. Next, it is about the recession. This phase is characterized by increasing the rate of wages. So, a rate of wages when it increases, I mean to say companies are hiring the people at higher salary or at higher wages, due to which their cost of production is likely to increase. I mean to say minimum wages, if they are like government of India is bound to increase the minimum wages. So, the salary and wages will increase. Turkey recently has increased the minimum wages. So, in Turkey the cost of production will increase. So, so this could also be considered as negative, because cost of production is going to increase as of it. Increase price of the raw material, the factor of production or raw material that companies are going to use, if its prices are increasing, that might lead a negative impact on the economy, and this could be considered as a sign of recession. Next, it is high cost of the production and high rate of interest. If companies have to pay higher rate of interest to borrow from bank, this will discourage the corporate India or companies to make more fresh investment into the newer project, and that could be considered negative for the economy, and due to which a recession is likely to came into existence, or it might be facing into the economy. So, the out of 4, the first 2 phases of the business cycle is, it is prosperity or recession. Prosperity, it is a phase where everything is happening good. Recession, it is when we say or we find out that wages are increasing, raw material prices are increasing, cost of production is increasing, and it is difficult for companies to access fund or credit at the cheaper rate, then it might be cause a problem into the economy. Third phase, it is about depression, that I discuss about the Great Depression took place into 1929, span over a decade. This phase is characterized by low prices and low demand, overproduction, idle production capacity, and general unemployment level. Depression, it is the worst phase of all 4 cycle, and none of the economy want that their economy need to be into the depression phase, because lot of problems are going to crop up, lot of problems are going to happen into economy, and out of several problem, this is one of the problem. First, it is about general unemployment. So, people will lose their job, people are not having job in their hand and they are losing it. So, it is because of that the general unemployment level into economy can increase. The companies will face idle capacity. I mean to say, company can produce more, but they are not producing more because demand is not there. So, into depressions, companies will face a problem of idle capacity will remain there. Capacity is what? For example, a company can produce 100 unit in a day. So, since demand is not there, rather than to produce the 100 unit, they will only produce 50 unit. So, this this it is because of the this 50 unit capacity will remain idle, and the fixed investment will remain out of use. So, this idle capacity is this sign of depression. Even during COVID, you have seen several company can produce more, but they are not producing the same quantity as per their production capacity, because demand was not there. See multiplexes, PVR or inox laser, they can they can accommodate more people, but they are not accommodated because they are running at the idle capacity, 50% of their capacity. See aviation companies, Indigo, SpiceJet, Go Air, Air Asia, they are not running at the full capacity, they are only working at the 50% or portion of their production capacity. So, into depression, what does happen? We can't use full capacity, and this because of the depression or some negativity is there in our economy. Next, it is overproduction is happening, low demand it is there, and the prices of the products are low. We the product that we are selling at, we are selling them at a very lower prices. Next, it is about recovery, when the economy registers a continuous and rapid upward trend in output and unemployment. When the economy register a continuous and rapid trend into the output and unemployment. So, this recovery phase is what we are going back over from the depression, now some positivity has started being, or we observe certain positivity, and now the economy has started showing certain positive sign, green shoots are there, and we are coming back from recovery to prosperity stage. So, we are going back over the we have started with, I mean to say, the prosperity. So, these are the 4 phases. It is prosperity, the first phase, which is most desired. It is a recession, when we find out much dip into various next it is about depression, we find there is much problem happening. Next it is about recovery, that is. Next, effects of business cycle, or what are the different effects over. So, effect of business cycle can be observed at 2 dimension or 2 phases. It is expansion and recession. Now, expansionary effects are what? Expansionary effect, it refers to inflation, increase in investment, increase the demand for the capital, which forces more supply, supply of the money in the system. So, when expansion will happen, or when there will be more the investment by the companies, that might lead toward a more economic activities are likely to be taken place, which will be having a positive effect. Or next, it is about severe competition. Another effect of expansion is intense competition. So, when several company will compete in one industry, intensity of competition is going to increase. So, into the prosperity phase, which is the one phase of the business cycle, we observe that the companies are making huge investment, companies are coming up with the major plant, they are adding their production capacity, since they expect that the demand is likely to rise. So, the more investment will came, and supply of money is going to increase into the economy. Second, severe competition. The severe competition will happen, because since there are into the prosperity stage, since there is a more chances of the profitability, there is a good sign into the economy, more company will prefer to enter into your economy, and they will compete with each other. So, the intensity of the competition among company in prosperity time, it is higher, and at depression or into the recession time, intensity of the competition relatively is low as compared to prosperity state. Next, it is about effects during recession. What are the business cycle effect during recession? It is about unemployment in the economy. Unemployment is likely to rise, or unemployment is likely to increase. So, when the recession will happen, companies are not very optimistic about that their growth will happen, consumer will be spending more, it has become difficult for the company to access fund at lower prices, then unemployment level will increase, because there is no fresh investment, no fresh project is coming in, and that might lower down the pace of employment into your economy. We can observe either into Europe or in America or into Asia or in Africa. If recession is there, unemployment will rise, people will lose their job. In 2008, what had happened, especially into IT, software, several other IT enabled services, people has lose their job. What is happening during COVID-19? Many people has lose their job. So, because the companies are facing that there is no further chances of business to grow, and companies have stopped their expansion plan, they are not investing further. So, that might lead toward unemployment into the economy. Next, it is excessive inventory. If inventory level is very excessive, it is not considered good for the company, because sales is less and you are bound or forced to keep that with yourself. So, when there will be an excessive inventory into your with the company and sales it is not happening, cost to maintain the inventory, the prices, the rent you have to pay for the warehouses, the salary you have to pay for the employees who are working into the warehouses, it will increase. So, excessive supply goes up during recession, and that might impact to the economy negatively. Next, it is below capacity operation. As I say, during recession company do not operate at full of their capacity. I just say that multiplexes are operating at half of their capacity, airlines are not operating at their full of capacity, various manufacturing plant are not operating at their full of capacity, because demand it is there. So, during recession, since demand it is not much, the company are operating or manufacturing at below of their operation capacity. Next, it is about the liquidation of the firm. During recession, company will prefer to liquidate the firm, because they say that in future or further there are no more chances of the growth and growth is not expected to happen. So, they may decide to sell out and get away from the company. Even you say during COVID-19, several companies had decided to liquidate or to sold out. Okay. You see the recently Future Group has sold out its retail, wholesale or supply chain arm to the Reliance Industries Limited, because the Future Group had much debt which he was expected to pay, and sales was not happening or the business was not happening, and further it was badly impacted by COVID-19. So, they were bound to sell out and get away from the businesses. So, they decided we should sell it to the Reliance Industries Limited. Next, it is about the retrenchment. Companies are bound to fire the employees, asking to leave the companies, because their overall profitability is getting down and companies cannot afford them to keep them for long span of time. Next, it is how the controlling business cycle happen. The controlling can happen at the firm level. Investments, firms should not invest huge amount in fixed asset. There should be a mix of debt and equity. So, they should not be investing much into the fixed asset. Always it is desire that capital structure, or there should be a mix of debt and equity. Next, it is inventory. Just in time strategy help in such cases. If you feel that economy is not good or prospects are not much promising, so you just adopt the just in time strategy, which will lead to lower down your level of inventory, and ultimately your cost is going to be reduced. Next, it is about the product, diversifying different market and different product. So, do not keep yourself into one basket or one product or one market. Better it is come into the different product, come enter into different market and diversify it as much as it is possible, so that you will be in the positions to save yourself. If sales is not happening from the one segment or one line of the product, your sales is expected to come from the other line of the businesses. So, this diversity likely to happen. Next, it is about the flexible pricing, adopt the flexible pricing as per the phases into the economy which is. Next, it is at the government level, what government can do and what kind of measures can be taken by the government at different phases of the business cycle. So, the first phase, it is what? It is the monetary measure and fiscal measure. So, monetary policy is being formulated by Reserve Bank of India, and Reserve Bank of India or the can take certain measures to control the or to manage the several phases of the business cycle. For example, if Indian economy is facing a recession, what Reserve Bank of India can do? They can reduce the bank rate. Bank rate is the rate at which RBI provide loan to the commercial bank or to the bank. So, if there will be a lower bank rate for the banks, and the RBI provide loan to the commercial bank at lower bank rate, more money will be in the system, and recessionary impact can be managed. Other way around, if prosperity is there, there is a more supply of money in the economy, Reserve Bank of India can increase the bank rate, due to which there will be a less supply of money in the hand of the people, and the phases of the business cycle can be managed. Next, it is various reserve ratios that are in the form of either it is SLR or it is in the form of CRR, that are different ratios. Their rate can be reduced by Reserve Bank of India. For example, if in Indian economy there is a recession, then these ratios can be lowered down and supply will increase. And next, it is about if there is a positivity, then there can be. Next, it is about open market operation. If recession is there, you need to sold the government bond and infuse more money into the system. Next, it is about the selective credit control. Reserve Bank of India can decide to provide loan at easy rate or it as it is terms and condition to some sector where they feel that it is important for the economy, like housing loan, education loan. So, selective credit control means specific measures can be taken. Fiscal, it is about public expenditure or public revenue. Government can decide to make some certain expenditure, and what are the different sources from the revenue has came into existence. So, these expenditure, if recession, we need to do more expenditure, because recession is there, we need to stimulate the economy. If other way around, if it is prosperity, then we can take we reduce our expenditure, then we can easily control our business phases cycle. So, these are a few phases of the business cycle, and I discuss about what is business cycle and what are the different phases and how business cycle can be controlled at some point of time. Thank you so much.